So this is a segment, or it says Jeff Wittick confirms David Dobrik lawsuit after life-threatening accident. Do you want to go ahead and read this one?
Sure. Okay. Jeff Wittick has confirmed he started a lawsuit against David Dobrik following an accident in, this says 2021. They were wrong. It's 2020 that caused the former Vlog Squad member to nearly lose an eye. So the context of this, he was in David Dobrik's Vlog Squad since 2017, and they all went to Utah in 2020, in June 2020, together to film each other wakeboarding connected to this excavator, like in the water. They rented it out, brought it into the water so that they could record each other doing that. And then they had the idea to do away with the wakeboards and just swing off of the excavator.
Very smart.
Free in the air. And that was going well for a few minutes. It's hard to explain without a visual, unfortunately, but basically David was operating the excavator. He had no idea what he was doing.
He didn't have his heavy machinery license, I'm sure.
Yeah. So he was swinging it super fast. He was swinging Jeff in circles super fast, and then he just immediately stopped it. And then Jeff slammed into the machine. Oof. It like crushed his skull. It fractured his skull. He almost lost one of his eyes. And I think he broke a bunch of bones in his rib cage too. He fell into the water, and I think they thought he was dead at first.
And still can't see, right? Is that what you're saying? Or you think he can't see?
Or he might have some vision loss because he keeps wearing these sunglasses. I don't know. Maybe he's sensitive to light now. But he didn't end up losing the eye.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. So then in the beginning of 2021, David was coming under fire for an unrelated scandal having to do with a sexual assault victim who was alleging that she had been featured in one of their vlogs and then assaulted, but then they made it out like nothing happened. So that was involving some other person named Dirty Dom. Anyways.
Always good science. Dirty Dom, isn't it?
At the same time as that, they started talking about Jeff's accident because it was kind of suspicious that none of them were really talking about it for a long time after it happened. And he just had this injury and was publicly appearing with this eye patch on, and nobody was really sure what happened.
Appear in the vlogs afterwards.
Yes, and also at the time, Casey Neistat had already been filming for a documentary about David that's coming out soon called Under the Influence. It's going to be streamed soon. So he captured the raw footage of what happened as well. But Jeff was remaining friends with David after this. It was just tense because David wasn't really sure how to respond. I think it's just because he's a socially inept person, and he...
Well, and I assume he didn't want to do something that would indicate that he was liable for the accident.
Yeah, and immediately after it happened, Jeff asked David to promise, don't tell anyone that it was my idea to get into this situation. It was his idea to start hanging off this excavator and swinging off of it.
It was whose idea?
It was Jeff's idea originally, and he made David promise not to tell people that after it happened.
Does it matter whose idea it was? Just that
legally it might.
I feel like legally it would only matter that they participated, not who came up with the idea.
I would say it's mixed. So he couldn't sue David maybe under an employer, saying David made me do this.
Yeah,
he's my employer. I felt
Mm-hmm.
whatever. David could be no, it was his idea. On the other hand, David is the one who rented the excavator. David is the one who's operating the excavator. David is the one who was we are going to Utah to film. He is liable for, it seems to me, he is responsible for a lot of the scenario that led to this accident.
And it didn't seem at first like Jeff was going to go after him legally at all. They were friends for a year after this happened. And he even made his own mini-series documenting the aftermath of his
recovering
injury.
From this?
Yeah, that was in April 2021 that he did that. That was Don't try this. I think it was called "Don't Try This at Home."
It says Jeff threatened David with a lawsuit for the accident on March 9th of 2022, and on April 5th
Yes.
episode is when he confirmed that he's moving forward with the legal battle.
Yes, it's official now.
Yeah, so it says we're not really talking. I felt really pissed off hearing the stuff he said. Wittick explained, "The guy's never going to learn. I guess I'll just talk to some lawyers. I can't have the stress in my life. I want to come on camera and be funny." There's like nothing's more stressful than having to be funny on camera. Seriously, like being funny is one thing, but having to be funny like productively and professionally would probably be like the hardest thing in the entire world when you really think about it.
Yeah, and this guy's undergone so much stress, and he even has, I think he said he has huge memory loss problems as well.
Did sorry to interrupt you. Did
No, you're good.
Dobrik cover any of his medical expenses?
That was what I was wondering about, because I was watching this podcast. I think his podcast is called Views, and they were talking about that. They mentioned the medical bills, but then they were kind of just dancing around it and talking about nothing for.
I didn't hear
the
anything
whole-
that mentioned whether they were paid or not.
Yeah,
I could have
like they
missed
were
it.
just kind of dancing around what the core issues
Which might,
were.
like, if he has unpaid medical expenses, that might have prompted him to go after David. Like, if they're more expensive than he can afford. Like,
Yeah.
that might indicate the timing.
But
is all I'm
David
suggesting.
knows that this friendship is trashed now. So, and he has enough money, well enough money to pay for these medical bills and then some too.
Has he commented on it at all publicly?
He has, yeah. Like he's told his side of the story and discussed it with the other vlog members that were there. And
I suppose like if the lawsuit had come like right after, nobody would have
But
spoke on it.
it's
But
just
since
so
it took so
awkward
long,
because Jeff was trying to be friends with him afterwards and be buddy, but at the same time felt weird about it and didn't want to confront it head on.
And like, do they have health insurance through David? Like, do you get your paycheck through him? Like, there are other implications for like feeling you need to stay on
super
good terms with him.
unconventional.
Yeah.
Yep. I this is like oh gosh, this is just the nightmare of like not working in like a very structured, like I don't know how structured the environment is for like their job, like as far as like pay and court, like whether it's done through like a subsidiary company, how all this goes. Like I feel like in the world of like entertainment now, when it's like when you make a movie in a studio, it's very regimented, it's very corporate, whereas like a lot of like the YouTube and content creation is far less linear in the way that
Yeah.
everything is produced.
And it's like, I mean, I have to go say the obvious. Like, it's crazy that these adult men were like, "This is a great idea. Let us."
That's
swing on
the
this
most adult man
Yeah,
thing to
but-
do.
There's a legal argument here that he was coerced into doing
Yeah.
this and psychologically tormented
Well,
by David.
And like this environment where they have gotten to the point, like they have been filming for a long time. There's no way
Yes.
this is the only time they have taken an extreme risk. Like
yeah, people have gotten tattoos for the vlog and done all sorts of dangerous stunts for the vlog. There have been other injuries.
like this is just like the biggest injury. It sounds like.
Yeah, one of them I think drove an ATV over with this ramp, went onto the ramp over and was trying to go over this pool in the backyard, and then it didn't work and he like hit his head on the concrete. Like,
Was he wearing a helmet?
I don't think so. No.
But every time that they do something like this and it doesn't go wrong, it gives them license to try a bigger stunt. And like
How did Jackass get away with it for so many years? Because it was more corporate.
it was more
Yeah.
corporate
And the lines between work and play
Yep.
in this situation are so blurred.
And
I
there's
think
no
Jeff has
one
it in the
there, I
bag.
think, being like, nope, this, like, with networks, they have, like, risk managers, right? Who
Yeah.
are like, no, we can't say that. We can't do that. Like,
They
here,
don't have a production team.
they don't
It's
have
just
anyone.
them.
They just get to be like, well, here's what we're going to do.
Like this, if it's like
also,
a Jack.
if you were to be the one person, sorry to interrupt you, that are like, that's like, no, I don't want to swing on the excavator. How do you think that group is going to respond? Like,
Gee, what a
Oh, sounds good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're just gonna deride you and make fun of you and yeah. But at the same time, I'm of the opinion that then that's your business to like not do it. Like if you're hesitant about it, you need to make that decision for yourself and not bow to the pressure of the group.
I'd be curious to see how the legal documents come out. Like, if they're like, no, if I didn't appear in the vlog, then I wasn't getting paid that day. Like, that's very different than just
Yeah.
like, nah, like I do this for exposure and I make my own money. Like, it's hard to say what's going on there.
Well, he does have his own thing going, but then arguably he could get compensation for damage to his career from being injured and unable to work independently.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like he had his own show called the Jeff's Barbershop, where he brings in people for interviews and cuts their hair. I'm sure he couldn't do any of
He's
that
the one-eyed barber.
as a one-eyed barber with memory loss. Yeah, I
Halfway
don't
through,
think
like,
so.
what? Wait, you wanted to fade, right?
A
No.
little
He was
asymmetrical.
getting countless surgeries after this. Like
Yeah.
it was a lot.
That is the just given the fact that we work in like a fairly non-linear, a fairly asymmetrical work environment here. I
But
don't-
nothing even close to this. Like I know we have a vlog here, but imagine if Nick just like started filming and came into your bedroom in the morning to wake you up and like poured some unknown substance all over you. Like
Does that happen in their vlogs?
yeah, like stuff like that happens all the time.
That's yes, that's I would not want that. Yeah. Like, you got to know what you're signing
And
up
if
for.
you didn't want to do that, then you have to move out and you're fired.
Is that ever explicitly said? Like, if you don't do this, you're
I
fired?
mean, they make a joke out of it, but it's also serious. I've
Yeah.
watched tons of the vlogs.
Ha
so-
ha 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 ha. Sure would be a shame if you didn't do this and had to go out and live on your own.
What's the appeal
Yeah.
of the vlogs, do you think? Because they've got huge, very serious following, right?
Yeah, I think mostly teenagers and college students are into the vlog just because it makes them think of their own friend groups and like, you know,
and it's
oh,
different
like,
and bold.
we're
kind
so
of thing.
crazy, like just like them, and they think David is cool because you know he's able to stunt with his money and everything.
Mhm.
It doesn't really, it's not my thing, but it wouldn't have, I don't even think this type of, oddly enough, given like everyone thinks that just because I grew up skating that like I loved like all types of like Jackass and stuff like that. Never, I don't think I ever watched a single episode in my entire life.
Yeah,
Like, it's like, it was never my thing. So like this wouldn't have been like, obviously I know who David Dobrik is and I've seen stuff just because like Nick loves Casey Neistat, loves I would use them as reference points a lot, and I knew who they were, but wasn't really my cup of tea.
yeah. Casey's is gonna put out this documentary Under the Influence, and I realized that he was friends with David before this incident happened, and then he ended up needing to continue documenting everything that was happening,
Oof.
including David getting canceled for these sexual assault allegations against his friend.
Yep.
And I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see how he navigated like no longer putting a positive spin on this guy.
Yeah.
That must have been hard. If they were friends beforehand and he's just trying to be
Unless the documentary does have positive spin.
well, I'm saying like
Yeah.
if he's friends with him and like he has to put I mean a negative spin or just covers it accurately, that must have been
If
difficult.
you cover it accurately, he's gonna look bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like so,
So-
if he's friends and he covers it accurately,
Yeah.
I guess that's a testament to his work. But it also
Yeah.
like that can't be easy.
Well, and it impacts his credibility if he's trying to launch into documentaries going
Yeah.
forward. Like he can't just, like if the neutral line, if you just present all the facts and David looks bad, that's okay.
yeah.
It would be bad if he made this a villain out of someone who's not a villain.
Mm-hmm.
But it would also be equally as bad if he tries to be like, "Oh, you guys don't understand. David's so misunderstood."
That's
Yeah.
it. That's interesting because that's a discussion I've had with a lot of friends who work in that industry who do documentaries about like where they're how they find their projects. About like I've asked them like, do you find it easier to make projects you're passionate about, or is it easier to make projects you're less interested in because you can remain more objective? Certain things, if it's a cause or it's an issue that you have strong opinions on, your opinions will bleed through if you're not careful. So something like this, where it's as close as somebody you actually know in the real world and you have a relationship with, that has to be very, very, very difficult to be able to try and make that documentary without falling into some type of narrative spin.
Yeah.
I guess that is I don't ever want to be on that side of the aisle, like that type of thing. Like when Nick makes the vlog every day, he has to, he's still telling a story, and we would explain that sometimes. Like there would be times where I was like, why do I always come off like a dick in the vlog? Like I do. I can't.
Yes, you are. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I am so not. That's the funny thing. Like I was telling Mary earlier. Like sometimes I'd hear him editing it, and because I hate the sound of my own voice so much, I would like run to the other room. Not really, but I'd be like, oh God, that sound of my own voice. But then sometimes like I'd like hear myself talking back to someone, and I'm like, why do I sound like such a prick? And he's like, But I was like, why are you using that? I was clearly kidding. And he's like, but you cut it, you edit it just the right way. All you have to do is like, there's a great documentary on how they make reality TV. Like, because it's now acceptable to do jump cuts in these types of industries, meaning that you don't have to cut to another shot. You can just cut from to the next frame. You don't know what the hell went missing in that frame in there. And that can make all the difference in the world as context.
Yeah.
And so you are still forming. I'm not saying Nick did this, but I'm saying like people do this when they make these types of projects.
What I would say is like all vlogs from all creators are only 10, 15, maybe 20% of what's going on in their lives.
At the most.
And that's like 20 is crazy generous.
That would be
the
very
thing
generous.
Is, like, people can do that and still be giving you a really authentic, honest product. It's just that like there's no way to capture everything that's going on and give you all the context.
That used to happen here a lot.
David Dobrik, if this is 10% of what's going on, it is hard to believe the other 90 is less crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's not even 10% because his are, I think they were weekly and they were 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Everyone knows it was 4 minutes and 20 seconds every time. And I guess the appeal was that they are
no
contrived.
wonder the bros liked it so much.
They're contrived, but like there's still that little suspension of disbelief that it's actually this crazy every day. They're always partying. They're always doing stunts, everything.
I would say it's not. It's like,
yeah,
if anything,
not always doing stunts, but they're probably always being insane.
Well, no, like I'm picturing them like in like a big studio the day before, like writing out like a storyboard, like how it's going to look the next day, like, and then we're going to look really crazy and wild, but they're like wearing like suits and ties, trying to figure out what the hell they're supposed to be doing to make themselves look wild.
See,
and
I
crazy.
just mean like every time that they do something on camera, you're like, wow, this seems like it has poor judgment behind it.
Yeah.
Like that was what they thought was the best judgment was that made it to camera. So think of all the things that they come up with that they're like, no, that's too far.
Yeah. What was the stuff that got nixed?
Yeah.
Because
like
they
that's what I
want
to ask.
Yeah. That I don't want to know. I don't want to know. All right, we're going to cover one more thing. I'm going to skip one thing. We're going to go to the last one. And this one, Mary is going to love. TikTok to fund its first ever Broadway musical.
Are you involved with this, Mary?
Unfortunately, no. They cut me from the cast.
Mary, we're gonna send Mary a Mary audition tape to them. Maybe they will hire her.
No, we're gonna start our side of talk, whatever. You know what I mean? And have her, because they say like, oh, it's I don't know, like beauty talk or book talk or whatever. Like we'll have Mary talk, and she can have her own musical.
That's perfect.
Are you into musicals?
No.
Well, you better start studying.
I will be now.
So you're gonna have to learn how to sing. So it says TikTok is set to take center stage. The popular social media platform has ordered its first ever fully funded musical, which is set to be streamed through the app in April, according to Variety. The music, titled For You Page, will be helmed by Daniel Metzloff, the creative force behind the viral Ratatouille, the TikTok musical, which debuted January 1st, 2021. I vaguely remember that. For You Page was inspired by real-life content creators and features all original music. Well, that's not very nice for TikTok. Shouldn't they all be lip-syncing if it's TikTok?
They lip-sync to real original.
They're gonna
Maybe they want their own original songs to blow up on TikTok after it's out.
It's really just a marketing scheme. That's perfect. It says with original music written by Mertzloff and several others, and orchestrations by Macy Schmidt. The musical follows Landon, an up-and-coming TikTok creator who is thrust into the spotlight after a song he debuts goes viral. He ends up leaving his friends behind and landing a gig transforming the song into a fully fledged musical and learning he can't do everything alone. So it's a musical inside a musical. It's like a meta musical.
About an app inside an app from an app with a musical. I got it. This makes more sense.
Yep.
My brain hurts. Not hard. Mertzloff, who has been working on the show since January of this year, has been documenting the creative process behind For You page on his TikTok, giving users a unique behind-the-scenes look at how the musical is made. The cast of For You page will feature all content creators and will be live streamed on the official TikTok account from a Broadway theater. They don't say what Broadway theater, but it would be hilarious to like, who would be the person we could send here that would be like the person to have like the least fun at that. I feel like Dane would like it in a weird way. But I bet
no. Who would we send?
It would probably be me, to be honest. Me or
no, I think you'd get into it. Because you like pop culture and you'd be like, this is different, and you can appreciate people's creative efforts. Like, it has to be our like most straight-laced person who is like, I don't have time for musicals. It might be
Cassandra?
Chris.
Would Cassandra
Cassandra
like
might
it?
get into it. I don't know.
Chris just like I can't. But Chris loves pop culture. Oh, Chris.
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
I
yeah.
think Chris Carr would have a great time.
Yes, Chris Carr would have a great time.
He's tired. He wants a break from his kids. He and his
Yep.
wife would have love going to the theater.
Yes, and he was like it was like he's one of those people that like every time he comes on, he blows me away, like he would blow me away by the weird stuff he knows.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a Britney Spears completist or something like this, or like he's a completist of something like that.
Chris Carr he's the editor he's executive editor for the news site, if anyone's wondering. And he is just a delight. I have loved working with him.
I miss having him on.
He is like the nicest person, very like poised and professional,
Yep.
who has extremely strong opinions about things you don't expect.
Hates England.
Hates England.
Even
Even when I use like British sources, I think he like cringes. But like he never gives me a hard time about it. I'm British, and he like saved this fact for me for a long time. Like he was like, "Look, I have to tell you, I hate the British."
I love that he hates the British.
and he's so dry, you can't tell if he's being sarcastic or not.
That's great.
Like I mentioned that one time. I was like, and the filming began in Britain, and he goes, "Oh, that's too bad." Like it's, I think he would actually have a really great time at this. I think Chris Poole would absolutely detest this.
Crowds, young people, TikTok, no.
No, thank you whatsoever. I don't know who else. Maybe Allison. I don't know if Allison.
Allison is just so busy. She'd be
Yeah.
like, I don't have time
She'd
for
be-
your musical TikTok.
She would be working on her laptop at the actual event. That would
that'd
be
so
fun.
funny.
I don't know who else. I think I could at least get into like all the production elements.
Yeah.
Like even if like the music makes me cringe and the idea of being at a TikTok musical makes me cringe, knowing like all the work that went into like designing the sets, building the the choreography.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Look,
even if
if
I'm
we get 3 tickets to opening night and they were like, Timcast, we want you to come review our TikTok musical, obviously you two would go because pop culture, and Mary is actually a TikToker, and then Carter is the obvious choice to go because
Yes.
he is our musical content. And when we did our road trip to Austin for Timcast Live, Carter and I sat in the back and composed several political musicals that I think would be fantastic. And he doesn't remember this because we did this drive like 24 hours straight. He was so like punch drunk in the car. But I was like, wouldn't it be funny if there was like this musical? And he was like, yes. And here's the first song. Like, I think he would be great to go.
and then he can armchair expert the show after the
That'd
fact
be
and
wonderful.
rewrite it.
I actually, I did a lot of theater when I was younger, and when you live in places that don't have the budget to have theater programs, they always do a musical because you can get so many people involved with it.
Yeah.
And so I am not musical in any way, but I did take part in a lot of musicals. I'm actually I think this is a cool concept to see, like, no matter how you feel about TikTok, to see like original content with people who are involved, because TikTok has launched so many people's careers or given them this platform. I think it's interesting.
I'm ready for MySpace the musical.
Oh, I would love that.
Starring
even more.
Tom.
So that's our counter musical to this.
Yes, that's our that would be the hipster musical version of it, because hipsters would want to use and plus MySpace was all music. Almost that was like it became known for music towards the end because
Just call it Losing MySpace.
Yeah.
And then you see what happens.
that.
Okay, so after this, we're gonna have a production meeting for our new
And we're gonna start writing our.
Somebody call Carter.
Yes, we're gonna need to call him up here and start producing our
Big
musical.
things are coming.
Yep. Well, you never know. So, I kind of shuddered at that, but it's so current year that it's better than what was Cats. I never want to see Cats. I watched the movie Cats, and
Why would you
Watched
do
that?
I
Mary
sat
and I are
through it.
concerned for your safety.
I sat through it. It was
Why?
I
That was
can't.
before they were doing this show.
I'm worried about
He
you.
did it on purpose to himself for
It
no
was
reason.
it was like everyone's like it's so bad. I'm like, well, how bad could it be? And well, it was that bad, but it's also like I wasn't expecting a Cats live action thing to be good.
Were you like atoning for some sins? This is like your penance?
Yes, I was paying off all my my negative karma and debt through watching a movie that I knew I would absolutely hate.
That just seems
James
unnecessary.
Corden was in that, right?
I don't. I just
Yeah,
remember
he was.
I draw the line.
There's like a bunch of these people who was like, why did any of you have business doing this at all?
Taylor Swift was in it too.
Yeah.
There's
Ju-
just like a ton of them.
Judi Dench was in it.
Like, why, when their
It must
agents
have been some sort of Hollywood deep,
blackmail?
like humiliation ritual.
They keep trying. They keep.
No, I feel like it was like blackmail. They were like, we've got something on you and we really want to make this movie, so you better be in it.
You're on that Wayfair list, aren't you?
It doesn't make any sense. Oh, well, whose agent was like, I've got a great idea.
Dude,
Send me
they're
this
art
script.
nerds. Of course they wanted to do this. They love they love
That's
musicals.
what Hollywood
dude.
is.
Yeah,
All the theater nerds, all in one place.
One of the most profound things somebody ever said to me was like, when Me Too happened, he's like, dude, don't you remember high school? All the art nerds? Did you ever meet a normal theater person? He's like, now give them a ton of money. He's like, natural selection where only the hot art nerds are left. Bad things are going to happen, man. Bad things are going to happen. And he was right. He was absolutely right.
The TikTok the musical makes me think of when a Harry Potter musical kind of went viral on YouTube, and it's like 21 parts. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, you didn't watch Harry Potter growing up, but in 2012 maybe, it was a Michigan State University theater troupe, and I don't know how affiliated with like a class or what. They made and wrote original music based off of the Harry Potter books, and it was like a really cool. They put it up on YouTube, in however long chunks, 20-minute chunks, and it was a really minimal set, and it was obviously super low budget, and it was really entertaining. I thought it was really funny and well done.
Money doesn't equate to entertaining for sure.
From it, do you know who Darren Criss is?
No, I don't.
He went on. He was in this, and it was when Glee was really popular, and then he got cast as some supporting role in Glee, and then stayed with the series for a long time, and he's been on Broadway since. Like, it had this sort of weird cultural moment that launched this one star that maybe he would have done well anyways, but that reminds me of, like, they didn't make it for YouTube, but this relationship between social media and independent musical projects, like, it just reminds me of that era.
They love, so many of the actors are musicians as well, not just like band musicians, but they all love to sing, and they're all.
The thing is, in America, if you are in any high school production at all, if you try theater, even if you're not really into it, it's probably going to be a musical because again, they're the most cost effective for education or for school systems to put on because they require large numbers of people, so you can have 45 people who can't sing be extras and still be like, oh yeah, I was in our high school theater thing.
That would have been me because I can't sing.
Yeah, me
I
too.
can't sing at all. Mary, can you sing?
No, not really.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But come losing MySpace the musical.
When Mary stars as Tom in MySpace the musical, you get to be Tom.
Awesome.
Very current year.
Can't wait.
I have tons of white shirts. You can wear like all the white shirt that he wears in his profile picture. He ended up becoming like a travel photographer. Like he retired because he made like $1 gazillion off selling MySpace and just travels and takes photos.
You mean he just became a professional wealthy person?
Yes.
That's great.
Yes, he's a professional wealthy person. Nothing wrong with that. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.